You know, I have a pretty complicated relationship with my heater. Sounds weird to say, but it's true. We're just coming into the third winter that I'll be spending living in my van. And come this time of year, and for the next few months, a heater I find absolutely essential. And this thing has been giving me, causing me to lose sleep since before I even got it. From starting going through and researching heaters and deciding on which one to purchase. And then a big one was getting it installed. That was something that took me much more commitment than I thought it would. And today, we're gonna get into the very first time I've serviced this heater. I'm here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, right along the Atlantic Ocean, Northern Atlantic. And this time of year is about the warmest this water gets. So it, you know, really does affect the air temperature. It's pretty mild out here today. It's getting towards the end of October, but it keeps our fall kind of lasting a while. So we don't dive down into really cold temperatures for a while, and really they don't last a long time. So I'm lucky that way. I don't know where you are, but there's definitely places that once things get cold, you can get into some deep cold, and you definitely want to have a source of heat in a space you're living in to, you know, it's a matter of life and not living. So, and comfort. I'm not here to say I'm a, you know, certified diesel heater mechanic by any means. I've watched some videos. I'm just going to more or less give this a shot. I'm going to take you along with me just to see how it's done. And I want to try to prove to myself that I can do it. There's these little steps I've taken while building my van. I've done everything myself. And, you know, every little step you make, if it's something you're looking into doing, you kind of gain a little more confidence. So I'm sure we can tackle this one. I've never done it before. So come along, I'll show you what these diesel heaters look like, how they work, or how I have mine set up to work. And then we're going to get into it and see if we can't do a full service to this thing before things get too cold around here. We're here at the van, and I'll show you how these heaters work from the outside first. We'll take a look at how it's all set up exteriorly, and then we'll pop inside and get this started. So first off, as it is a diesel heater, it needs an exhaust. So this is the exhaust pipe for it right here. Have it mounted there just above the exhaust for the van. So that kind of works. And just one thing about that, it is noisy. So if stealth is your main concern, these heaters do make some noise. There is no doubt that there's something going on in there when you have the heater going. And when it's cold too, you will get some exhaust coming out of here. So it kind of gives you away if you're really looking to be stealthy about staying in the van. But you got heat. I guess you got to decide which one's more important. I'm going with the heat. All right, well, I'm going to crawl underneath here. I may need to grab a light, but I'll show you what the heater does or looks like here coming out from underneath the floor of the van. That silver pipe is the exhaust, and then the black one there is the air intake, because it needs air coming in, and then fresh air coming in, and then the exhaust going out. Also the gas line that goes to the gas tank. So that was a 5-inch hole I had to cut in the bottom of the van, and that was a challenge to decide where to put that, because once you cut a hole like that in the floor, there's no turning back. And this exhaust pipe does have a small muffler on it. So the heater is just up that way. I did read that you don't want any kind of dips and dives and ups and downs on your exhaust line. You want it kind of flowing downwards from where it starts to where it eventually exhausts. So tried to get that going on. But this is the little muffler here and then goes right out the tailpipe here. And that is the air intake hose. So it just goes just right here to the side of the vehicle, just runs up and then up into the heater. And then I put my fuel pump on the outside. I'd watched videos and seen people that had kind of everything inside, and I'd heard people mentioning the ticking noise the heater made. Now, I don't really notice it with this one. I guess a little bit when I'm out here, but not at all inside. Don't hear a thing. So I stuck the fuel pump just right there. When you put these on, there's a certain angle they're supposed to ideally go on. So I think I got it kind of close. Screwed it into the frame of the van, and it seems to do the trick right there. So it's running up to the right there to the heater itself, and then to the left it goes back and then up into where my diesel tank is. This van runs on gas, not diesel, so I do have a separate tank that I use for the heater. Well, I think that's everything here on the exterior and how it all works from the outside. Now let's go dive in there and get to work on getting this thing serviced and ready for the winter. Go up under the bed here, get these slats out of the way. And that is our heater just down there. Right, so we got to get under the van and undo the hoses. There's just some clamps on there, and get the fuel line disconnected. Before I do any of that, I'm going to pull the fuse that powers the heater. Full disclosure here too, guys. I am now at the Home Depot. Thought I'd park here because if there is a tool or something I need, I can just run inside and grab it. But that was about 3 hours ago when I filmed the first little bit of this video. And I've just been sitting here thinking and rethinking and overthinking, watching videos about how to do this. I just got to, get in there and start. But it's this heater. This is what this heater does to me. I don't want to mess it up. I don't fully trust myself, but I do. So I'm going to get into it here. Man, that took me a lot longer than expected. We got the fuel line disconnected, no problem. It was a bit of a pain getting the exhaust pipe pulled off of there. It's always the 10 mil. You're always missing the 10 mil. And I misplaced my 10 millimeter wrench, and I was trying it with sockets and just couldn't get it. So popped into the Home Depot. Good thing I was right here. Grabbed one of those, and we got the heater out. This is the Espar D2 Airtronic. So the plan here is to get this all taken apart and clean out the chamber inside, the burn chamber. I'm guessing it's kind of sooted up. This all came apart. Everything looked really clean. Everything looked really good. So I'm happy about that. But I'm going to dig in and try to get this taken apart. That's the exhaust. That's your air intake. Gas line is right here. That's where the fuel line goes onto. And it sits like that. These are a few bolts that bolt to the bottom. I'll show you the setup I have. And we're going to try to get this thing going. Okay. Well, that is the hole that goes down to underneath the van. We're going to open up this package. This is the service kit from Espar. Here's what we got. We got our gaskets. I believe that's the little atomizer screen, I believe it's called. And then a little tool to put that in properly. Because apparently when you take this apart, it just wrecks that. So there's three gaskets here, it looks like. So we're going to take this heater apart. Pay close attention to what we do. I'm going to have a YouTube video going at the same time. so I can follow along. And we'll see if we can get this all cleaned up. Okay, so here is the unit we're starting with here. It's a couple clips. Just going to lift those off, and that should pop right open. Just pull that off, and then I think this should just slide right out of there. Oh, I got this little rubber gasket on the bottom here, which we're not going to replace. We will reuse that. So we got this off, and what we got to do is we got to need a torque wrench. This is what I'm not sure I have. So I'm going to go take a look. There's 3 of these bolts. This whole little control panel here with all the electrical comes off, and a couple of these little wire things unclip. We got that off. Got to be careful. The glow plug's in there. And I got to get this thing unclipped, but it's funky, so I got to sort it out. Whole part of the unit off. I took a picture, so I remember exactly how this goes back together. And we got to take this whole top off. So it's these hex nuts here. I'm going to get that off. And then the glow plug, there's a special tool to get the glow plug off from outside. But if you take this apart, apparently you can just use a wrench inside to get the glow plug out. So we're going to hit that up, see how we do. All right, we're getting these guys out of here. Crack the seal, and then you can just kind of get those going by hand. And I'm going to say, I might skip some of this. I'm not here to give instructions on how to do this. There's 30 YouTube videos. They all do a great job. I'm just showing you I'm trying myself here. And this top should come off. And there we go. And it did. So I'm going to get that clean. Oh, check this out. There's a moth in there. Ooh, there's one of those gaskets. So we'll pay attention how those go in. And then inside here is what we want to clean up. And there's our way we can get at that the glow plug from the inside without having that tool. So we got to slide this grommet off carefully. And then I think we can get in there and get the glow plug out. Okay, so I think we're still on the right track here. We're going to get these 3 bolts out of here. And then our burn chamber's inside there. Well, I watched a few videos, but none of them had this exact same setup. So this is a rubber gasket that doesn't match the one I got. So we're going to keep this rubber one, but it's got to come off because this has to come out. So I'm going to be really careful taking that off. Looks like I could probably just clean it up. Oh yeah, that thing's, nothing wrong with that thing. That is different than that. This has 4 holes. This one I just took off has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and some extra little jiggity point pieces. And then this is it. This is the burn chamber is in here. See what this looks like. Okay. Holy smokes, that looks perfect. There's nothing in there. Down here, I don't know. Oh, there's our gasket all fell apart. Piece of the gasket on the ground here. So pick those up, put them in the garbage. But that looks really clean. I've seen a couple videos of people and it looks brutal in there. Get the carb cleaner, give everything a little spray and a wipe. This fan that works at the back had a little bit of dog hair in it, because that's unavoidable. Giving that a bit of a scrub down with the wire brush. And yeah, we're getting little pieces of carbon stuff fall out of there, but doesn't look bad at all. As I say, if you're thinking of doing this, don't follow my video. This is more of a strictly entertainment. But yeah, you'll see some of these guys open these up and whew, stuff falling out all over the place, and it's all caked. I'm happy with this. It was 2 years using this thing. And then this guy we want to clean. That atomizer screen is in there. We're going to pick that out. And there's also a little tiny hole in the side of that. And that looks all right, but we want to clean that right up. Because I think that's the air intake for where the flame starts. So I want to make sure that that's nice and clean. So there it is, all kind of burnt up, smashed up from that. Okay, stuff is looking clean. We got our gaskets here. Came with 2, actually. We only need 1. I thought we only needed 1, but we'll have 1 for next time. And we're just gonna put this all back together. The atomizer that it comes with, the screen, just goes in here. And then the kit comes with this little tool. I'm guessing you just push that in there as deep as it goes. New screen. Hot dog. Got the new gasket in there. Man, I think we got this. It's pretty amazing. There we go. Took me a little longer than I thought. Took me a little longer to kind of get into it than I thought it would. And we are back together here. Boom. Now we got to put it in. So I'm going to attach it's getting dark out, so I'm going to attach the gas line from underneath while I'm inside. Drop this down, these 4 bolts get bolted to the plate underneath there. And then we'll put on the exhaust and the heat, or the air. Whew. Wow, guys, it is getting dark. I just got that put together under there. But I think it's gonna work. Not gonna fire it up tonight, it's warm. And I'm going over to a friend's for dinner where I can eat and shower. So I'll catch up with you a little later. I'm so glad to get that taken care of. Power works, and the fan comes on. I can't use the heat yet because I've ordered a new diesel tank, separate diesel tank, a nice stainless steel one. So a bit of an upgrade, but that didn't come in when I was doing this. So today is Wednesday, October 22nd, and it's like 17 degrees out today. So I don't need a heater at all. But my tank was supposed to arrive on Monday when I did this, service, and I got a notice from Amazon that it wasn't going to be coming until Thursday. So that's tomorrow. I'm working stack of days here, so not going to have time to get that put in and charge this heater up and make sure it works until I get that tank. So we'll get that sorted here in the next few days. But I'm feeling good about the relationship I have with my heater. And as I say, it kind of went through 3 stages. Choosing what heater to get. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's in a van or thinking about moving into a van, if you're living in cold climate, I mean, a heater is almost a must, or some source of heat. So I went with the diesel heater. I think it's the safest way, and it's a dry heat, which is nice. Now here in Nova Scotia, it doesn't get really cold for extended periods of time like other places in Canada or other places. But it can be damp too. So that dry heat is really nice. Just having that going all day just dries this place out, makes it nice and cozy. So that definitely was a factor in there. And the reliability, the Espar heaters and the Webasto's and the, kind of those more brand name heaters are, you know, they are a little more expensive, but they are reliable. And I was told by somebody, and I'd seen on YouTube videos and stuff, if you're going to be full time in a van or in a vehicle, you want a reliable source of heat. So far so good. 2 years, and haven't had an issue. But I mean, you got to get what you can afford, and because this is going to help keep you comfortable and alive. So I mean, some of those knockoff ones are a lot cheaper, and you see lots of people on there that haven't had problems with those either. So I went with this one. That was the route I took. I did have my aunt, help me out with the purchase of this. So big thanks to her. You know, she didn't want to see me go cold, and she helped me out with this heater. So a huge thanks to my aunt for helping me out purchasing this Espar heater. And then, you know, stage number 2 was where to put it. And I'm happy with the spot I put it, but it took a lot of time. And, you know, I use this thing. I use this, this big 5-inch hole saw to cut a hole into the bottom of the van, which, you know, it's not a hard thing to do, but once you do it, it's done. So I wanted to make sure it was in the right place. And, you know, I was confident with getting it put in. I went quite a while. I put this heater in. It was freezing cold. It was end of December. I'd waited too long. I just had to do it. And it wasn't a pleasant day putting this in, but I got it done. And it just because I procrastinated and thought about it so much on where to put it, but I finally pulled the trigger, and it worked out just fine. So I'm happy with that. And then the third stage, I guess, in this relationship was the other day getting this thing serviced. They say to do it every year. I hadn't had a problem the first year. I kind of didn't even use it a full winter, more or less. And it was a mild winter, so didn't use it a ton. But it was time. They say to do it every year. And I was nervous, though. I didn't want to take this perfectly working heater and take it apart and mess something up, and then have to go take it to somebody and spend a bunch of money and just to get the heater going. And I definitely didn't want to do it when it was cold out, because then I'm without a heater for some time. So this was kind of the perfect time, and I'm glad it worked out. I think I haven't fired it up yet, but I will as soon as I can. But it went pretty well, and I'm pretty confident in myself now that I can do this. You know, I'll do this every year now, and hopefully keep that thing making heat well into the future. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a challenge for me, for sure. I guess it was more of a relationship with me and getting over these kind of things I fear doing a little bit. And then, you know, kind of diving in and getting it done and realizing, hey, I need some help with this, or hey, I pulled this off myself. And, you know, you can do that too. If you're kind of thinking of getting into this and that's a challenge, or you're in a van right now and winter's coming and you know, you're on the fence about a heater or how to do it, or whether you want somebody to install it or you think you can do it yourself. I mean, you want to make sure it works. But, you know, taking on these little challenges, that's what I kind of feel this is, for me, is a little bit about doing this van life thing is you know, challenging myself and, you know, being able to be pretty self-sufficient. So, you know, if anything kind of goes down, I'm able to fix it. Now that hasn't happened yet with the heater. It hasn't, you know, faulted out on me aside from being out of gas. But other than that, it's never had any issues. So hopefully that doesn't come if I stay on top of this maintenance. Hopefully it keeps running great. If not, at least I feel confident now I can get in there, you know, replace the glow plug if I need to, or kind of get a feel of maybe what's going on with it. So anyway, that's all I wanted to do on this one. I wanted to get over this hurdle that I've had with you know, kind of getting this diesel heater serviced and ready for winter, because it's coming. And you know, you got to be prepared. I'm kind of trying to tick off all my little boxes here, getting everything set for winter time in the cold months. So that was on there. I think we got it. So thanks for joining me here on this one. This is Elma Dog. We just went out for a walk. It was kind of rainy. So she's happy to be curled up here. I am Rob. We're Haken We, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.